Well, what is up, all of you Ugnots and Jawas out there, and welcome back to another episode of Mando Talk. I am your host, as always, Caleb Keller. And if you are watching on YouTube, you quickly know that it's not just me and Zach this week, like it's been the past couple of weeks. So, by the way, welcome back, Zach. Glad to have you.
What
But
up?
we got the brother of the host, Jacob Keller, in studio. It's great to have you back, sir. How are you doing, Jacob?
I'm doing just fine. Doing just fine.
That's great to hear. And the Star Wars community is doing just fine because we got a lot of great things going on in the Star Wars community this week, upcoming, and stuff going on great for us here at Mando Talk. Now, before I get into us specifically, Zach, I didn't want to breeze over you. How are you doing this week?
Oh, it's fine. I'm doing great. Doing great. Like you said, a lot of good stuff coming up. A lot of good stuff to talk about today. I'm happy to be back. I can't wait to hear some of Jacob's thoughts as well. First time I think we've been on a show, so
Yeah,
let's
man.
get it going, man.
Yeah.
Dude, it is the first time.
Yeah.
I think me and Zach, we've done a lot of shows together, but no, we haven't had Jacob on board with us quite yet, but I'm excited. Jacob's our deep into the lore guy. He's probably going to shoot me down because off the top, I'll just go ahead and tell you, we teased it up last week. Our main topic this week is the Bad Batch predictions. We are going to get to that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to dissect it. Jacob's going to tell me that I'm wrong. Zach's going to go with the flow. He's going to do what he wants to do. And we're going to have a lot of fun with it. But before we get there, some things to talk about. But as always, social media, check us out at Mando Talk. We have a lot of fun on socials, and we know that you would have a lot of fun on socials if you checked us out on those platforms at Mando Talk. Second thing, tomorrow, May the 4th, the Bad Batch premieres. And guess what Mando Talk is doing? You've heard us talk about it. We are hosting a live watch party on YouTube at approximately 8 p.m. Central Time. It is going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be us three. At least that's the plan. And I think it's going to be executed just like Emperor Palpatine's Order 66. We're going to execute it perfectly, and we're going to get that done. So check us out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell so you get notified as soon as it drops, and we can't wait to see you there. Now,
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Dude, I'm looking forward to having you, man. All right, and the last thing as far as announcements goes, Discord. Check us out on Discord. There is a link in the description for you to conveniently click on and go straight to that platform. There was a perk this week for our Discord members. If you, as a Discord member, typed in your thoughts, predictions, theories, feelings toward the Bad Batch, we're going to read them on this week's show, and I cannot wait to do that. Zach, as always, before we dive into this, you want to add anything to any of those announcements before we get going?
I know you summed it up well. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to our live watch party. And also, as we've been talking about, we're still really excited about the Discord. It's been cool just going in there and chatting a little bit. And like you said, you get a little bit of perk this week. You might get a shout out. So that's one thing that it really allows us to do is talk to you, the community. And we look forward to getting more of you in there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's do this thing. We teed up that we're going to talk about the Bad Batch predictions, but we're going to hit pause on that because there are some great topics going on out there in the Star Wars galaxy that here at Mando Talk, we feel obligated to address. Now, this first one, as soon as I saw it, I knew Zach was going to be heavily excited and ready to go as far as discussing it. And it is this. There is online speculation of a Mandalorian video game in the works. A Twitter post from Xbox Era co-founder Nick Baker has revealed that a Mandalorian-centric Star Wars game is in development. Further to that, though, Baker noted that there was a Mandalorian Funko Pop on the shelf of Xbox chief Phil Spencer, who has used his shelf before to tease Xbox IPs. So Xbox exclusive content. I'll pause there. I'll go to our video game expert, Zach. When you hear all this information, what do you think?
My first thought is, why the heck would they not do this?
Right.
It's one of the biggest, IPs in the world. But also you've got Mandalorian. Everyone's still talking about Mandalorian. It ain't even like on and people are talking about it. So like I said, three main things. Why would you not do it? Right. Duh. Number two, you have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Come on. Amazing game. Amazing game. So if you just, we know they can do it. We know Star Wars can adapt. So why not make a Mandalorian where it's potentially open world and you're talking to Grief, you're going around, you're flying around, you're doing bounties, you're helping the Jedi, whatever it is it turns out to be. Oh my God, boys, that's
I would
hype.
love that.
I know that's awesome. And go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I've always envisioned having a Red Dead version of a Star Wars game, like open world. Let's have fun with it, and it fits perfectly in that Mandalorian plot line, I guess you could say.
We have
thinking about that.
We have the characters, we have the place, we have the people in terms of like people we could interact with and get missions from, or however they want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, why not, man? And the third reason is, I think video games are still an area where Star Wars could really explode, especially compared to Marvel. We compare to Marvel a lot, right? Or I do at least. And this is one area where Marvel has been killing it lately with Spider-Man. Amazing game. Avengers, it's okay. But Star Wars, the first, one that's got me hype was Jedi Fallen Order. It really changed my scope because Battlefronts were cool. They're fine. Oh, get to play as Luke, get to play as whatever. It was okay, but I'm really excited. And dude, freaking Phil Spencer, if he makes this an Xbox exclusive, I'm gonna be so pissed. Come on now.
And that was the next thing that I wanted to talk about. Like, I feel like as a Star Wars, it might be me as a PlayStation guy saying this, but wouldn't they be limiting their audience if they were to only go Xbox exclusive?
I am biased. I will say I like PlayStation. I'm a PlayStation guy, and I don't want it to be just Xbox, but it's less of that and more of I want everyone to be able to play this game. I want it to be on Switch. I want it to be on PC. I want it to be everywhere, right? And this fight of Xbox versus PlayStation is so dumb to me, especially nowadays. Let's all have it. Let's all have fun so we can all talk about it and enjoy it. And if it's good, then wow, it makes it better for everybody. So I saw this leak, a couple of days ago. It was pretty hot on Twitter, and I was like, please let this be real. Please let this be real.
Yeah. Jacob, do you have any thoughts on it before we move forward?
I don't play video games much, not in this part of my life, but I would totally be invested in a video game like what you described, Horvath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
you're gonna be going around, do anything. Oh man.
And I think a lot of Star Wars fans share that same feeling, and a lot of Star Wars fans love video games. But me and Jacob particularly, like, we enjoy video games. There's nothing wrong with them, but when it says Star Wars on it, especially the Mandalorian, we're checking it out. Like, that's money that they can easily get, and it's gonna happen eventually. Regardless if this speculation or rumor is true or not, it's coming soon. Maybe one day.
Like I said, why would they not? Come on.
Exactly.
They have Lucasfilm Games now. They have the avenue to do these things. We're not stuck at freaking EA. Let's get some stuff done. Let's brainstorm. Let's use the devs that are out there. And let's get a game like this. I can't wait.
Absolutely. All right. The next thing on our off the top discussion is something that we've voiced before we cannot wait for. And it's all about Ewan McGregor and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ewan McGregor recently sat down with the Hollywood Reporter to discuss some upcoming projects. And in it, man, he kind of flirted the line there. He's given some details that nerds like us really like to dive into. And inside that interview, he had the following quote: "I've been doing monster 2.5-hour sessions of sword fights to prepare for the show." And then on top of that, when he was asked about potentially doing a screen test with a young Luke Skywalker, he grinned and said, "That's very possible. I don't know." So two things that I think of. Number one, this is absolute confirmation that we are going to see a brand new lightsaber battle, in my opinion, at least, a brand new lightsaber battle between Kenobi and Vader. And
100%.
And then second thing, in my opinion, I'm taking this as like 70% confirmation that we're getting a young Luke Skywalker.
I think this was
Yeah.
he wasn't ready for this question, and then she plops it out there, and he was like, it's possible, and then he was like, I don't know. He's like, oh God, I'm about to get sniped by Disney. So
yeah.
no, I think it was a great interview, and I really, why not? Why? I mean, it would make sense that Luke would be there. There would be a young Luke. So come
Absolutely.
on,
Jacob, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, you gotta love Ewan McGregor.
He's just a good dude, man.
Yeah,
He just seems like a really chill dude who loves Star Wars. He loves working on it, being with the fans.
He loves what he does. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually something that he dove deep into in that interview with Hollywood Reporter. He talked about his career as a whole. He talked about reflecting on the prequels, and now that he's in his 50s, how he's so appreciative of being able to come back and play the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was a great interview. I recommend anybody out there to go check it out. Hollywood Reporter, I saw it pop up on Twitter. That's how I get my Hollywood Reporter fix, but it's a great article to check out. I recommend it to any Star Wars fan. He dives into other projects, but you do get your Star Wars sweatiness out. You get your content from Ewan there, straight from his mouth, regarding some details focused on Kenobi, the show. And I can't wait to see it. Again, I think this leans heavily in we're getting a brand new battle if he's training that hardcore. And secondly, Luke Skywalker, it's happening. We're going to see a young Luke. If it doesn't happen, I'll be very surprised. But I think it's going to be one of those things that's just meant to be, and they execute it.
They have to. They don't have to, but they have to. Like, come on, man. You're doing this. Do it right. Do it full. Have them freaking fight. Let's have it crazy. This is 2021. Let's freaking go, man. I want to see some crazy. I don't want like flipping prequel stuff. I want like crazy force. We're talking about the monsters of the galaxy, right? These two guys at their peak.
Yeah, they could have advertised the show like HBO and Warner Brothers advertised Kong versus Godzilla. I mean,
exactly.
They really could have advertised it as Kenobi versus Vader.
Like, I just need one shot of like Ewan like looking over his shoulder, and you just see like a red lightsaber. Oh my God! You talking about hype? Yeah, that'd break the internet.
You just got me pumped. You just got me pumped. All right. Well, I can't wait for Kenobi. I can't wait to continue to get more details. And maybe tomorrow on May the 4th, Zach talked about it last week. I haven't read how Zach's currently still feeling about this, but maybe tomorrow on May the 4th, they drop at least a picture. Who knows? You know how they like to celebrate Star Wars Day. We'll see.
Yes.
It's still feeling it.
They're dumping it, dude. It's gonna be like Star Wars. After Star Wars Day, you're gonna be like, has a lot of Star Wars.
I don't know, man. I don't know, because they're premiering a new project on Disney Plus. Don't you want that to be the focus?
See, I'm of the mind that that's why it's gonna be hype, because they're gonna use that. It's gonna be a win-win for them. It's Star Wars Day. Everybody already knows, right? And you got Bad Batch coming out. And so why not push people, get them distracted with Kenobi and say, hey, by the way, Bad Batch tonight, watch it, do it.
I could see that.
I don't know.
I could see. I hope you're right, but I don't think you've convinced me.
Fair.
All right. The next off the top, and then I promise we'll get to the Bad Batch predictions, but this is going down that animation lane. Matt Lanter, the voice of Anakin Skywalker in Clone Wars and in Rebels, is toying, or actually not toying. He just straight up said it. Anakin's not done. While talking to Entertainment Weekly about his upcoming show, Jupiter's Legacy, Lanter said the following: there's some new Lucasfilm animation going on. I've been a part of some things I can't talk about yet. You'll see Anakin again. I never quite put Anakin down, whether I'm doing a video game or something new for Lucasfilm animation. So I got the list of possibilities here, and I want both input from Jacob, Zach, and from myself of which of these projects that we know of could it be, that like the tip top probability of this list. So the first possibility is the Bad Batch. Obviously, that's the one that's coming out right now. It would make sense for him to be incorporated in that Clone Wars style. That's the first possibility. Second possibility is Visions. This is from my understanding, it's kind of like an anime Star Wars.
Right.
show coming out later this year. Probably smaller in scale compared to Clone Wars and Rebels and Bad Batch, but I guess we'll see about that. Third possibility is a droid story. Fourth possibility is there are still some Clone Wars unmade episodes out there. You can type on YouTube and find them. They have not finished the animation on some of these things. That's probably an easy possibility. And then the last one is something completely new. So I'll start with, let's go with Jacob first. Which of these shows do you see Anakin Skywalker, Matt Lanter's Anakin Skywalker, coming back?
Which one is the most likely?
The most likely. I'll let you look at that list. Ponder over that list one more time.
Remind me what a droid story is going to be about.
Well, it's going to be about some droids. That's all I know, honestly. Zach, do you know if 3PO or R2 are involved in that?
Let me look. You go ahead and tell your prediction or talk about it, and I'll look it up real quick.
Go for it, Jacob. But I want to say R2 and 3PO. If not, it's definitely just centric on droids.
I want to say if he's going to be in the Bad Batch, then it's got to be like a hologram or that's all I can really think.
Kind of like his role in Rebels.
Yeah.
So it looks like a droid story. It just says is an epic journey that introduces us to a new hero guided by the legendary duo R2D2 and C3PO.
Okay, right on.
So no details.
Yeah. I want to say maybe Visions.
Okay, Visions. The anime style. Okay, no, I like that. That's a good flex. I like it.
I like it. I like that Zach, a lot.
What's your number one?
My number one, I think, is a new project. I base this on nothing besides the fact of Disney Plus. We talk about it a lot. Why not? I keep saying why not in this episode, but it's why not? You're freaking Disney with Disney Plus. You got a gajillion subscribers. You've got the revenue to make an animated project. Now, did he mean to say all this? I don't know. This is another one where I'm like, he's kind of showing his cards big time here. He's like, hey, I can't talk about it, but Anakin. It's like, wait. So to be honest, I think the new project, is not as much animation as it might be for Star Wars or for video game. Why would he talk about a video game out of the blue?
I see what you're saying. Now he has voiced Anakin in Battlefront 2, the recent Battlefront 2.
Okay.
So I think that's what he's referencing, his past work. But you're not wrong in Lucasfilm Animation. Well, I don't know. Is Lucasfilm Animation involved with video games now that there's Lucasfilm Games? Maybe those two are now separate.
I think they're two separate things now.
Okay.
I think, again, tell me if I'm wrong. You guys
jump down in the YouTube comments and let us know, or let us know on Discord.
Yeah, perfect. Actually, Discord would be perfect for that. But I just think it's a new project. Now, could it be Bad Batch? Sure. Could it? I kind of hope it's Visions out of that list. I really hope it's Visions, because how cool could Star Wars be in an animated show?
That's what I keep saying.
It lends itself very heavily to that. So that's what I want the most, I think, is the anime, but why not be a new project? So Keller, what's your thoughts?
Okay.
Caleb?
So we got two Keller. We're Keller squared this week. My heart wants a new project, because I have always been on the train of the Clone Wars made fans appreciate the prequel so much more. Do that with the sequels. If you want to double down on the sequels, it's a great way to do it. Make a Clone Wars styled animation, something that we're all comfortable and love, but create a show that's focused on Luke training Ben, establish that character connection, incorporate Snoke, give the whole detail behind Palpatine and everything else going on with that, and include Anakin as a Force ghost. And that way Matt Lanter can show up in that Clone Wars animation style, still be the young Anakin, because we know of the special editions of the original trilogy. Hayden Christensen is now the portrayal of the Force ghost Anakin. So I think that's what my heart says. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's just an easy Bad Batch hologram situation. Yeah. Especially now that I've gone back and rewatched. I did check out the Star Wars official What to Watch Before the Bad Batch. I went back and watched those episodes, Anakin's got some pretty cool connections with the clones and specifically Echo. So I think it would be pretty cool to see him as a hologram in the Bad Batch, but we'll see. We'll see. My heart tells me new project, sequel focused on establishing those characters better. But I want to say Bad Batch just to be different from you guys.
Yeah, and so before we jump into our Bad Batch predictions,
Sure.
I saw something on Twitter today.
Oh boy, I think I know where you're going with this.
I'm not going to talk about it in detail at all. But if you care about Star Wars, it's a pretty big freaking deal. So it has to do with Darth Vader and some other stuff that's very important to the sequels. So I just wanted to let the listeners know about this and be careful if you don't want to know any spoilers about it is a comic book.
Yes, it's a Darth Vader comic book that goes into connecting Luke's sever. I'll just go ahead and say it.
Okay, fair.
Are we okay with saying it?
I'm okay with it. I just didn't want to overstep.
No, you're good.
I haven't seen it, so yeah, I'm interested.
It's got something to do with Luke's severed hand being involved in creating the Palpatine clone, and by default that then makes Rey by blood somehow connected to the Skywalkers still. Like I saw somebody on Twitter try to make that connection, but I don't know if that's quite a thing, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't go that far. I just saw it as a avenue to Snoke, right? That's the main thing I read in that, and I thought that would rub me the wrong way, but I'm not going to lie to you when I say it actually makes me feel a little tiny bit better about how they did it.
I don't know, man.
That's what I'm saying. I know it might be a hot take, but for some reason that at least gives me more information on what the crap this Snoke thing was made up at the end of Rise of Skywalker, you know?
Yeah.
I guess really my biggest issue, and again, we don't really want to dive.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
But my biggest issue with this, and I know part of Star Wars's DNA is comics and books. They dive into those small details. This ain't a small detail though. I mean, come on. This is a huge detail that should have been incorporated in the sequel trilogy somehow. Like and if sequel trilogy was entertaining for you and you loved it, that's great. But I think this is still one of those pieces of evidence that displays that we just didn't have a clear-cut direction, and now we're using these other resources, which is fine for them to use to answer those questions. I guess that's just where my frustration is, and I guess that's why I'm maybe against the idea. That might be my own fault coming out, just being frustrated a little bit with the direction of things whenever the sequels were being put out, but
Jacob, what's your thoughts on that? Just since you just heard what it was, what's your thoughts?
That sounds wild. That sounds pretty wild.
Yeah. It sounds like they made it up like last week and they're like, that sounds like a good idea, is what it sounds like.
It sounds like a Reddit connection that a fan made, and then they're like, that sounds good.
Because I 100% agree with you in the sense of if this was an actual thing that they planned in Force Awakens, it would have been in the freaking movies. Yeah. Like that's a movie thing that you just pan over and you see that and you but no, it's like, I saw it on Twitter. And so, I just want to bring that up because I saw it on Twitter and that's pretty big deal in Star Wars world here. So,
I think so too.
All right. So moving on to Bad Batch predictions.
Let's do it.
So we were able to do a Twitter poll out there. So follow us on Twitter at Mando Talk. You can join in on the polls. And we just simply asked you guys out there, with the series premiere of Bad Batch less than a week away, that's when we started it, what's your excitement level, right? And we just gave different options, staying up late, high, average, or low. And over 70% of the people who were in the poll are staying up late or high excitement level for this. So over 50% at high. So people are out there are pumped about it. I'm pumped about it. As we talked about last week, every day I think I'm getting more and more excited for this, especially with it being on May the 4th. And just, I think they dropped the Star Wars Day banner today.
Yeah, they did. I saw that.
So that starts, you're just, you're sitting there like a little kid, like, oh, here we go. Yeah. So I don't know, what's y'all's excitement level going into We'll start off with that.
With the Bad Batch specifically?
Yep, Bad Batch.
Hi.
Caleb, go ahead.
I would have said staying up late, but we got to do a live reaction. So I'm going to hold off on watching it until that live reaction, just to be genuine. So if I was to vote in that poll, I would select high only because I would stay up late. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Jacob, what
would you?
Really high.
Really high?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I just love, I loved Clone Wars. I love the whole show. And I'd love to see more of it, more of that same storyline going forward.
And while we're on this,
especially into like the beginning of the Empire, and we don't really see much of that in any of the movies or any of the other shows. That would just be so cool to see.
I agree, especially how powerful they are. By the time we come back around, and it's like, how did they amass this freaking power, man?
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're very. So I agree with you 100%. I've never thought about it in that sense, but that gets me even more excited because I want to see that as well. But another thing I wanted to bring up was, the staying up late. Disney Plus, freaking drop them earlier,
dude. They need. I think they need to
or
do a
later
job with that.
Like you killing me with this. Okay, we don't live on the West Coast. We can't watch it at midnight.
Nope.
I know Disney Plus, but I know they listen to this, the CEO over there. So change
Bob
your
Chapek.
release schedule there. Yeah.
I think so. And again, we're diving into something here, but doesn't Amazon Prime like release at 7:00 at night, like the day before?
I don't actually know because I'm watching Invincible on Prime Video.
Yeah,
you haven't watched that? So good. So good. It's adult though, so it's pretty adult, but
disclaimer.
It's really good. But I don't know, actually. That's a fun fact. I would think that they would want to drop it earlier because just the hype levels, and then we get it talking about it on Friday. Because right now I have to like work and then watch it, and I don't get to talk about it until like Monday. So I don't know.
Absolutely.
That's just my 2 cents there. But
no, I'm right there with you with that. There with you.
So let's dig into what we know about the Bad Batch. Give me a rundown there, Caleb.
Yeah. So prepared this list here. I watched the trailers. I went back and watched some of those again. What to watch before the Bad Batch. I went through those things, and I went through there and just typed all these things out. So let's just go ahead and talk about them. Hunter, Echo, Crosshair, Wrecker, and Tech. They are returning as the Bad Batch, as Clone Force 99. We are going to be going back to Kamino. Man, am I excited about that. I love that planet. Palpatine's post-Order 66 speech is going to be displayed and broadcasted. Fennec Shand. We are Mando talk. We love the Mandalorian. Somehow, Fennec Shand is being incorporated into the Bad Batch, but I am here for it. Don't get me wrong. Grand Admiral Tarkin is going to be playing a role. And again, if you go back and watch these episodes that they're saying to watch before the Bad Batch, man, does it introduce some possibilities. And we'll talk about that here in a second. Omega will be a new character introduced and travels with the crew. Tarkin is testing Clone Force 99 on Kamino. Tarkin wants Clone Force 99 destroyed after things go down on Kamino. Captain Rex and Saw Gerrera are going to be returning. And this is the detail that you might have forgotten about if you haven't gone back to watch the Clone Wars. Tarkin was present at Echo's quote unquote apparent death at the Citadel earlier in the Clone Wars. And Echo is the now rejuvenated, revitalized robot-like clone that's with the Bad Batch. So I think that presents a great possibility. That's all the recap of things that I remembered as I went back and looked at those different things that I think are going to be really important for the Bad Batch season and premiere.
So, go ahead.
Is he not a Grand Moff?
Grand Moff Tarkin. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
You said Grand Admiral.
You're right.
That's Thrawn.
I think I kept, because I remember in my notes I kept putting Thrawn for some reason, and I went back and was like, wait a second, it should be Tarkin, but I messed up on putting Admiral. So yes, Grand Moff Tarkin. Let's do our due diligence.
Come on,
let's pay our respect to the great Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah. So on that same note, like now that we kind of know where we stand, I just wanted to dig into your guys' guys' predictions because I thought it would be an interesting dynamic since you guys have a lot of history with this and I don't, right? I've talked about it a few times where I'm new to the game in terms of animated stuff. I'm getting my feet wet, especially before Bad Batch. I'm going to go back and watch, some of the ones we talked about, but also I want more backstory. So for the rest of the show here, we're just going to talk about straight predictions.
Absolutely.
So Caleb, let's start with you.
Okay.
I'll let you, start at the top and just let it flow. What you got? Where do you think we're going to start at here?
Okay. Well, first of all, I definitely think our premiere that we're getting, Camino is going to serve as that primary location throughout the entire premiere. Maybe not the entire premiere, but the majority of it. Again, that premiere is 75 minutes. That's pretty long as far as animation goes. Whoa. That's enough time, honestly, for us to leave Camino if they really wanted to. But regardless, I think Camino is going to be our main location. Would you kind of agree with that take, Jacob?
Yeah.
I think it's a great location for them to reestablish this crew, it being the home planet of the clones. I think it just makes sense. It just like how every show really has that first episode where it establishes all of its characters or reestablishes all of its characters. Because you do still have, and maybe Zach, you're one of these, you do still have people that are brand new to Star Wars animation by watching this show. So they're going to have to do something to make the new people care about these guys.
For sure. You got to have it, especially with, the amount of people in Disney Plus. Maybe they've been watching Mandalorian. We're starving for Star Wars content right now. So maybe they've never seen any animation and Disney Plus is going to have it right on that front screen. So maybe they go, oh, what is this? Click. So you got to have that backstory of who the Bad Batch are, what they're doing, why they're interesting. Right. So I definitely think that'll be a good chunk of that time. But 75 minutes is awesome, by the way. That's like almost full length movie. So
it is.
I'm happy to see that.
Now, bouncing off of that, I think that Clone Force 99 is going to be on Camino when Order 66 happens. And that's where they are watching Palpatine's hologram broadcasted. That's my prediction. I mean, we'll see if that actually gets executed. But I think that just kind of makes sense. Jacob, what do you think?
I don't know. I kind of question that.
Okay. Why are you questioning it?
Because why would Tarkin be testing them in this premiere, like we see in the trailer, if they, I don't know. Like you talked about it once where he's testing them because they didn't follow through with the command.
Yeah, you brought up a great point there. I completely forgot about that. There's a chance that the Bad Batch does not execute that order, and that's why Tarkin is testing them in the trailer. That's a good point. That's a great point, actually. Zach, you want to be the middleman, maybe? I don't know.
I have no idea, boys. No, I think I lean more towards Jacob in that sense. It would make sense. It would make more timeline sense of how they may structure the show as well. Because it's going to be an interesting dynamic if that is how it goes and they don't do it. And then he's like, all right, we got to figure out what the crap's going on with these clones. So,
Jacob might have actually convinced me because for some reason I completely forgot about that. That again, it would conceptually, that's why Tarkin's testing those guys. So maybe I need to backtrack that, but I guess that is a good segue for me to introduce my next prediction if everyone's ready for that. I think the only role that Palpatine is going to have is that hologram, that broadcast of execute order, this is now the first galactic empire. That's the broadcast that we see in the trailer. I think that's his only role. And this might be a hot take. I think that's his only role for this season. I think that's the only time we're going to see him. That might be hot. That might be wrong, but we're bold tonight. We're trying to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
That's Palpatine's only role.
I think you're 100% wrong, but
there we go.
No, I shouldn't be that aggressive. I think you might be right. I think there's a chance in there. I give you a 15% chance you're right. But the other percentage there, I don't know, man. Why would You gotta have him. You gotta have him. He doesn't have to be important, but I don't know. He's got to be looming, right? That's just
Right.
how he works. That's how we know he is. And so, if things this big a deal, especially with the Empire booming, as we've been talking about, he's got to have some sort of role. Now,
Yeah.
I may be wrong as well in the sense of maybe he's not. Maybe it's a middle ground. Maybe he's like a few scenes.
Mhm.
But I don't know, Jacob. What do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking, what if we get him like giving orders to Tarkin, and
I think that would be our middle ground.
Exactly.
or maybe sometimes we'll see like the giant holograms in the streets,
Like the broadcast.
Empire propaganda, that kind of thing.
Potentially.
That would be cool to see.
I agree with you on the given orders thing, because there's a precedent for that, right? Like throughout Star Wars, we've seen these little scenes where you'll see a hologram, or Snoke had his stupid tall one. Like, there's a precedent for that. So I definitely agree with you for that.
Okay, and now my next, I guess, prediction, as we're talking about Tarkin, I think he is our main villain. For as far as visually, like, yes, we know that Palpatine's always the main villain in the background, but I think as far as plot line goes throughout this, especially the premiere, but possibly maybe even the whole season, I think Tarkin's that main guy. You're shaking your head in agreement. You with me? Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right, man. I was going on a cold
completely agree.
No, I agree with you as well. Again, not knowing as much as you guys, but just thinking about what the show could potentially be, that just makes sense to me. What a great villain to have. And I want to know more about Tarkin. I want to see him do more stuff. Right. I just, I want that. Dude. So
and while you're talking about Tarkin, one of the best things about Rogue One was Tarkin's involvement.
Dude, exactly.
The CGI on that,
mind-blowing.
I'm sure like 5 to 10 years from now, we'll look back on that and be like, that doesn't look that great. But in the moment, it looked great.
Dude, it blew my mind, because they tell you, oh, he's going to, it's going to be Tarkin and he's going to be CG. You're like, oh, God, this is going to be bad. And then you get in there and you're like, oh, my God. It didn't take me out. I was still sucked in. Could you tell? Of course. Wow, it looked amazing. So for the chance to do it animated style, where that is completely brushed away and we just are sucked in because we know it's animation, I want to see more and more of him.
Yeah. And they did his character perfect justice in that movie.
They gave him the perfect role. Like, they didn't put him too much, but they didn't put him too little. Like, it was that sweet spot. And Darth Vader was that sweet spot. Yeah. Rogue One, man, we love that movie.
What a good movie. That's really like exponentially rose up my rankings, because when I first saw it, it was just so different in my mind. I was just like, I don't know if I'm in on this. And I watched it again. Then I watched it again. Then I watched it again. And I'm like, oh my God, I was so wrong. This is amazing. This is amazing.
Yeah, I'm hoping they play a little of those. And I'm trying to segue this back into the Bad Batch a little bit.
Yeah.
Like that tone, that overarching dark presence is in the background of this lighthearted story. But you can just feel it somehow that the Empire is in power right now. And they are everywhere. They are dominating. However you want to say it. I hope we get that tone. Rogue One played that perfectly. Let's incorporate that here with the Bad Batch as well. I guess I could add that to the list of prediction. I think they're going to try to play that.
They should. I mean, what a time for that to be. This is really when it starts to happen, where people start looking around going, oh my, like, all right, Empire, great. You guys are doing some bad stuff and you're like scary, they really need to lean into that, because I think Rogue One did such a good job, but it was still hopeful, where this, I think, needs to be the reverse of that, where it needs to be hopeful, but then like by the end of it, you're just like, oh my goodness, man, this is bad.
Yeah, that would be cool. Now, my next two predictions here are specific to the premiere. First one is, and I felt this way as soon as I saw the trailer, the most recent trailer. Crosshair goes missing in some of the shots. He's the dead aim. He's the good shot of the group. I think he commits to the Empire. and in the premiere. And I think that's why we see the Bad Batch go away. But for some reason, in every single shot in the trailer, Crosshair was not with them when they went away.
At other locations.
Yeah. So, Jacob, what do you think about that as far as Crosshair committing to the Empire? I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. We talked about how his personality is the most likely to be committed to the order of things, which the Empire promises.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay.
I don't know, but
okay.
I don't know. I might want to see more proof, though.
Proof in the pudding.
Yeah, we're going to see it tomorrow, baby.
Yeah, we will see it tomorrow. And whenever he does commit to the Empire, you'll see it on my on the live reaction about how I'll be pointing at Jacob saying, "Yeah, I was right."
Oh.
No, it makes a lot of sense though. Okay, you're probably gonna be right.
Well, and I'd be okay if I wasn't, because I love Crosshair. As I was rewatching the Bad Batch arc in the Clone Wars final season, Crosshair probably my favorite one of the Bad Batch, only because his abilities. I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
To me, he's just the one that just don't care.
Okay, I could see
He'll
that.
knock you down.
I guess it's just his ability to
be
just
over there chewing on his toothpick,
to just snipe you from the side. I don't know. Wrecker is definitely the comedic relief. We definitely got that vibe. Wrecker is going to continue to be the comedic relief. Hunter, I feel like, is just the go-to to be people's favorite.
Yeah.
So to be different, I'll just say Crosshair. But I think Crosshair is going to commit to the Empire, which might make him no longer my favorite of the crew because he won't be part of the crew.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'll go ahead and say my last prediction for the premiere, at least, before we get into overall season stuff. I think Fennec Shand is actually going to show up in the premiere as the very last thing, like the segue for episode 2. She's going to be predominantly featured in episode 2 because we know Tarkin and the Empire specifically have a history of hiring bounty hunters to get people that they want destroyed. We see that in Empire Strikes Back with Boba Fett. I think we will get that same thing here with Fennec Shand. Tarkin is frustrated that the Bad Batch crew escaped Camino. He hires Fennec to go chase those guys, and we see her at the very end of it to segue and get everyone hyped up for episode 2. That might be kind of I guess I'm reaching a little bit with that one. It might be just something that I really want to see, but we talked about first episode, you got to A, establish the characters, but B, you got to make people want to come back.
You got to hook us, and that'd be a good hook.
That character is a established character in one of the number one shows out there right now of The Mandalorian, and I think that would be a good way to do it.
100% agree with you. I hope that happens, because then I'm going to be like, I can't wait till next week, kind of thing.
Yeah, and in the end of it, that's the goal of the premiere. You want people to say, okay, I can't wait for next week. Jacob, are you okay with Fennec Shand showing up in the first episode? Yeah, or do you kind of want to hold off on her?
Decisions. I'm okay either way.
Okay. All right. My next point is, and this might be the hottest of takes here for me personally. I felt queasy typing it. I felt queasy putting this on my prediction because I have a feeling that this is the least likely to be correct. It might just be something that I want to happen again, and that is that Omega, the last clone, that's, again, another prediction. I think Omega, the reason why they call her that is because she is the last clone developed there at
Definitely
Camino.
Agree with that.
But here's where it gets fetchy. I'm throwing that cast out there. I'm trying to reel in this fish real hard. I think Omega is Force sensitive. There has never been a Star Wars produced animation show by Dave Filoni who does not focus on a Force sensitive character or characters. Rebels had Ezra. Clone Wars had all the Jedi Order. I think that's one thing that's part of Dave Filoni's formula. He always has one individual at least that's Force sensitive. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I think that makes the Bad Batch realize, oh, I know, or we know of Captain Rex. He was very connected with the Jedi. Captain Rex is very connected with Ahsoka. And maybe the end game of all of this is getting Omega with Ahsoka. Again, that might be far-fetched. That might just be more so what I want to see happen. Jacob has that puzzled look on his face. He's thinking about it. I have a feeling he wants to crash my dreams here.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's what I thought.
Am I good to go ahead and do that?
Do it. Crash them. Destroy.
Wouldn't that kind of just be a repeat of The Mandalorian, though?
Dude, it kind of would. You're right, dude. It would be an exact repeat. It would be an exact repeat.
Yeah. Who's to say they won't do that, though? So, I don't know. I don't know.
Zach, on the outside lane of it all, what do you think of that, though?
It makes sense that they would have somebody force sensitive. Star Wars, it's Dave, so
it does.
You got to have somebody pushing some force. Now, does that mean it ends to Ahsoka? I don't know. I do like the path you took. Yeah. I like how you connected those in your brain.
It's a stretch.
I don't know. I don't know if that'll really happen, but I kind of want some force sensitive stuff in there. Well, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't need that. Maybe I don't need it with Bad Batch. Maybe I want it to be Star Wars, guns, regular quote unquote people.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I want that instead. I think I'm leaning more towards that, at least tonight. But
no, and that's a fair take. I guess that's just part of me as a fan. Like Solo, I love Solo, but I think that's why maybe Solo didn't go well as far as money goes, because the force sensitivity of it all wasn't there. I mean, yeah, you got Maul at the very end, but outside of that, fans are just casual viewers didn't get there. Oh, lightsabers clashing, pushing lightning.
Make Maul the bad guy that movie, by the way. Just do it. I don't need Vision to be the bad guy.
Vision.
I need so yeah, go ahead. Keep going there.
Jacob, what were you gonna say? I might have derailed your thoughts.
Well, I don't remember them now.
So that's okay, man. That's okay. Well, now to get away from that though, and just think more so about full season predictions, unless Jacob finally thought of something.
I do have something else.
No, that's fair.
That I'm just pondering now.
Go for it.
I don't know. Would the cloning program already have something to do with putting midichlorians inside a clone? But that's something that starts happening in The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big gap, I don't know.
Maybe something happens to where it halts their work on it.
I mean, I truly believe
she
that.
Escapes.
Yeah.
Like, I truly believe the Emperor, if we're talking about real life stuff, he would be trying that, right? Mm-hmm. He's obsessed with that type of stuff. So, I definitely think you might be onto something there. I don't know. We know it becomes a thing, but when does it start, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And while you mentioned the Emperor, while we were talking about Omega, one of the first things that I saw a reaction to the trailer was because Omega's hair is slicked back, like Palpatine's hair is slicked back in the Clone Wars. People are like, "Oh, she's related to Palpatine." And I just died laughing.
Who knows, man? I mean, potentially. Yeah. Apparently, he was doing his thing. So,
apparently, man, Palpatine was getting busy.
Yeah, he was, but somehow. But yeah.
So moving away from premiere specific predictions, just overall season. I think Rex and Saw Gerrera are later stories in the season. I feel like that's a safe prediction. That might be too safe to even have a conversation about it. And then my last prediction, again, too safe to even really, I hate ending on this safe, but part of the DNA again of Clone Wars and Rebels, we're going to go to a ton of different planets, ton of different locations. I mean, we even see it in the trailer. I attempted to try to count them all as I was watching the sizzle reel that came out back in the holidays and the trailer that came out almost a month ago. I tried to count all the planets and I just couldn't do it. So it's definitely in the 5, 6, 7 ballpark from my counting, but I might have been off. No. Those are my kind of, I guess that's it as far as predictions go for me. All the ones that I had prepared. Now, obviously I'm open if y'all thought of any other things as we were talking there. I mean, feel free to share. Jacob, you have anything on your mind? I can always look at you and you look like you are about to drop some facts and some wisdom.
I've got a question for y'all.
Yeah.
Do we see Jedi in this? In Bad Batch?
That's hard.
That is hard. I guess it goes back to just me because I'm stretching here to try to make Omega a Jedi or Force sensitive.
Yeah.
So my heart tells me yes. I don't know what my mind tells me though.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Jacob?
If there is one, then it's got to be Ahsoka. I mean, would y'all agree with that?
It would make sense.
Yeah, it would make sense.
And as soon as you see Rex, that's the Jedi that you think of.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I don't know if we do. That's why I asked.
Okay.
I really wonder if we keep that separate. Maybe like in passing or like half an episode or something. But
right.
I kind of lean towards maybe not. Maybe we'll keep it because of timeline, but also because of Bad Batch and our characters we're talking about. I don't know. It lends itself to not need that, but who knows?
Okay, so while we were talking about that, you're the video game expert. Is there a chance to see an animated version of Cal Kestis?
That's honestly where my mind went when I asked that question: is do we see Cal? But I think the answer is no.
Okay.
I
just
think it's just
ready yet.
I think it's because of the time. Like
Okay.
I don't know where it all falls together in terms of where he is and where they're doing their thing, and I don't know, but I want to see him in something else, please, whether it be Mandalorian, like way later on, or maybe it be this show. Like I want to see him in other stuff because he's a really cool character, and especially where it ends in the video game. I'm very excited to see.
Absolutely. Well, tons of predictions, tons of possibilities with the Bad Batch, and I can't wait to see him. But we have one more prediction.
Yeah, we do.
Zach,
talking about
I'll
predictions.
Let you take the reins on this, Zach.
Yeah, so as we said at the top, we went to our Discord to see what you guys thought of predictions as well. We reached out, and one of the top ones we got was our boy Rebel Scum Texan, of course, coming in with a great prediction.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's right. So I'll just throw his out there, and I wanted it to be heard. So he says it's an unpopular opinion, but I think we will definitely be revisiting Order 66 in some form. It's been rumored that Hunter is Force sensitive. So if that pans out, it could make for an incredible season-ending cliffhanger. So
what do you think about that, Jacob?
What do you think, Jacob? Give us what do you think about Rebel Scum's prediction?
Well, first, we love hearing from him because he's a great guy and we just love him.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I definitely agree with the Order 66. We're definitely going to be seeing something about that, or at least I would hope so. In terms of Hunter, that's interesting because I did note in the rewatch of the Bad Batch episodes.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Tex said that Hunter's ability is that he's able to sense like electromagnetic energy around him. And he says that Hunter is never wrong, where like technology can be wrong. And that's very interesting to me.
And we can even connect that all the way back to Luke in the very first Star Wars, not trusting the tech that was in the X-Wing and just trusting the Force, getting the job done to destroy the Death Star.
Well, everything you just described sounds like the Force to me. I'm gonna like flowing around everything and like an electromagnetic force. I mean,
and whenever I was rewatching that as well, I mean, I think we rewatched that together. I interpreted that as he has the ability, and I might be wrong here, it might be something that I just want to see. He kind of might have the ability on the battlefield to see things before they happen, almost in a way. Because I feel like somewhere too there was a line about how he kind of sees things before they happen, like he's never wrong, kind of like you said. I might be just throwing something way out there, but regardless, to connect that back to Thrawn, that was one of the things that he could do. Like, he's able to look at the battlefield and be able to tell what would be the best strategy.
Yeah.
I think Hunter does possess that, even if that's not anything to do with the Force.
Technically not the Force. It's like a
Right.
what's her name in Force Awakens? I'm blanking right now. The little lady, Maz Kanata, where she
Maz,
like
yeah.
knows about the Force. She's
Yeah,
not
or,
like, you know,
Chiru
things like that.
in
Yeah,
Rogue
yeah, yeah,
One.
yeah, yeah.
I
That's
think
right.
that might be a better comparison, maybe, instead of because I know as soon as we say Force sensitive, we think Jedi or Sith.
Exactly. Like,
But
not
in reality, I think there's an in between there where I think Hunter could fall in that category.
exactly.
Yeah, so
like, I agree. Go ahead.
the way I was thinking about it is, you know, like Chirrut, he's just got heightened senses, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I thought of Hunter when
Okay.
we rewatched that and, you know, thought about that.
Yeah,
exactly. So does that mean Force sensitive, or does that just mean,
I'm not sure.
like, to me it does, the wording of Force sensitive, it means like he's sensitive to the Force, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But
maybe
see,
he can't manipulate the Force. I don't know.
But see, like birds and stuff are more sensitive to electromagnetivity, and that's why they're able to migrate.
Yeah. So
that's just like a
they're Force
heightened.
sensitive too.
No, yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Okay, yeah, but
No, it's just like a heightened sense, you know, that most people don't have.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of where I was going there with Hunter, as far as maybe being able to predict or see things kind of before they happen, as far as maybe just as far as what he needs to do to succeed.
Yeah, sixth sense level instead of full on what we're thinking of Force stuff.
Right.
More sixth sense. I got you, and that makes sense. But shout out Rebel Scum Texan again. We appreciate your prediction, and we want to hear what you guys think. Listeners, go to our Discord. Let us know. Tomorrow is the day, right? So throw it in there. What you got? It doesn't matter what your prediction is. Go to our Discord. Links down below. If you're on podcasts, you know, find it in there, or go to YouTube. You can see our pretty face. You can see our cool backgrounds. We're still rocking Jedi Sith.
Got the Grogu shirt on today.
Yeah, that's right. I'm rocking pink. You got to rock in, boy. So, come check us out on YouTube. Subscribe. Get ready for the watch party tomorrow. Go to Discord. This all just links together into what the community we're trying to build here. So, on that note, let's just head into the outro. Let's
do it. Well, listen, I was just going to say, kind of to reiterate what you were going to say, if we were completely wrong about these predictions, roast us. Go to Discord, go to the YouTube comments. And first of all, if you are watching or listening to this before the premiere, if you listen to this as soon as it drops on May the 3rd, tell us what your predictions are before you go in and see it. But if you're catching this episode after you've seen The Bad Batch, which is perfectly fine, let us know what we got wrong, or let us know what we got right. Discord, YouTube comments, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Mando Talk. You can find us in all those different locations. Again, links are provided conveniently for you. Just click in whichever platform you want to communicate with us. We're there, and we will communicate back with you. Now, again, just to reiterate, tomorrow is our Bad Batch live watch party on YouTube at approximately 8 p.m. Central Time. May the 4th be with you, because that's going to be the perfect way to celebrate that holiday. So come on over to our YouTube channel and have fun with us. I can't wait to do that. And as far as Bad Batch content goes, we will then follow that up with a spoiler-heavy discussion over the first episode, the premiere, and the second episode releasing on May the 10th at 6 a.m. Central Time, our normal content delivery time. Really, the only thing that's changing is we're having fun with a live watch party. So come check it out on May the 4th. We're going to be right there with you to enjoy it. That's all I got, but I'm going to go ahead and talk to Jacob. I appreciate you being here this week.
Yeah, had a good time.
I had a great time having you here. What do you look forward to the most with the Bad Batch? Let's end there. That's a challenging question, but let's end there. What do you look forward to the most with the Bad Batch?
Just seeing more of their story, you know?
Yeah.
Just seeing more of them and seeing what they get into, what trouble they get into.
Okay, for me,
Yeah,
it's
Zach, go ahead.
Jacob really has blown my mind with thinking about the Empire. That's what I want to see. I want to see
Yeah.
that. I want to see what they're doing. I want to see, how they it's Nazi stuff, right? That's kind of where all this started. I
Yeah.
want to see how they get into the brains of these people on these planets of what they really think. Maybe some people love it. Maybe they're hype about it. They're like, "Oh, this is going to be great for us."
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? I want to see
Definitely.
that, and I want to see how the Bad Batch interacts with people like that, and I don't know. I think that'd be a great dynamic to have. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say for me, kind of, and I agree with both of you guys, and I was kind of going down that lane, but to come up with something different, I look forward to see Dave Filoni return to animation post The Mandalorian. I have no clue where this storyline is going. Clone Wars, we knew where the storyline was going. We knew that it was going to eventually lead to Siege of Mandalore and Order 66. I don't know what's going on with the Bad Batch, and that is so exciting. I don't know what kind of plot lines or themes or things that Filoni's going to be pulling in. Filoni doesn't have George Lucas helping him with this show like he did with the Clone Wars. This is all Dave Filoni, and I want to say Filoni was all in on Rebels as well, so he's already proven that he can do it. I can't wait to see Filoni in action, diving into this content some more. That's where I will land.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
That's a good ending, man.
Absolutely.
So,
all right, let's go ahead and get out of here. Tomorrow, check us out on YouTube, May the 4th. We're going to have a live watch party for the Bad Batch. We can't wait to see you there. As always, may the Force be with you, and we have spoken.